Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you all to International Affairs taking place in the SATV's Gulshan studio. My name is Shamsul Pantho, bringing you the latest news from the geopolitical arena from around the globe. Before I begin to our discussion, let me introduce my panel. Here in the studio, I have Major Retired Dr. Nasiruddin Ahmed, the military analyst, as well as a columnist, has appeared on this very program before. I welcome you on to the program. On the other hand, we will have Norman Floyd Barnes joining us from Washington District of Columbia. Gentlemen, a very good day to you both. I want to begin with the NATO summit. How are some of these approaches looking at? Late last night, we've seen here in Bangladesh a game that is marred with ethical concerns between Argentina and Egypt. But more on that later. I want to begin with Norman Floyd Barnes in Washington, District of Columbia. Very good morning to you. Some important updates. Late last night, we have seen an confrontation taking place in some of the islands in southern Iran. Sirik Island and Keshem Island were bombed, and of course, vice versa between the US and Iran. Very early into the issue because the funeral is still ongoing. On the other side, in Ankara, there is the NATO summit. It is still ongoing today, with the agenda of helping out Ukraine and Russia to meet their ends as well. I want to begin with you, Norman. How are you looking at these sorts of events in the Middle East? What are some of the updates from your table as well? A very good morning, Norman.
Good morning from Washington, D.C. Today we wake up to another day of suspense and excitement. The NATO summit is going on, and different world leaders, particularly Belgium, is taking the opportunity to take subtle spikes at the United States. Belgium defeated the United States in a FIFA event, and we now looking at NATO. NATO right now is basically prepared to address the issue with the Ukrainian support in regards to Russia. As one of the ministers said, that this is a red card to Putin, and he mentioned that you can't take the red card back, taking a slight at President Trump. So we're now politicizing this beautiful game of soccer. Everything is it affects everything else, and at the same time, we are now appear to be back at this crossfire again. The United States is responding to attacks on the by Ukraine, excuse me, by Iran. Iran is responding by attacking military installations in Bahrain and Kuwait. And we are back into this hot mess again. It never ended, but now the temperature is up. We are now exchanging military actions at the military installations, reference areas in both the Middle East, and we appear to be going backwards. I don't see any progress we've made. There's conversation about ceasefire, peace, but there's actions. The actions are contrary to that. There's always seemed to be a reason to re-engage this conflict. The core issues can never be addressed because we're dealing with these small and localized and regional issues in terms of dealing with this matter of the strait. The strait is a contention that has to be dealt with, and now it has bled over into how NATO is going to respond. NATO is now addressing Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia is back at it again. We're talking now about how the Europeans are going to step up their game and get more active in terms of regarding the NATO incorporation of Ukraine, which is definitely brings a real eyesore, a real pain Putin and what the Russians want to do. So right now we're dealing with geopolitical hot mess. A geopolitical hot mess. Everything we started at the top of the year has not progressed. It has gotten worse, and we're looking forward to move to the next level. We don't know. We got Venezuela, we got the World Cup, we got the Middle East,
Right.
and China is still waiting, sitting out there watching and looking at this whole mess go on, and we haven't improved anything. I don't see anything. We got midterms coming up here in the United States, and it appears that this geopolitical hot mess that we're in is going to affect every single part of the world. Like, we took these sanctions off of Iran in terms of trade. We put them back on, so that's going to have a cascading effect on everything else. So now the rug has been pulled out from under the progress. So supposedly progress is supposed to be made, the promise. Right now we are back into the mix, midterm, mid-year, and we're still into a mid mess. We still it's not improving. It's not getting better. It's possibly getting worse, and this story goes on. This story goes on. Conflict. We
Right.
just can't get along. Some reason mankind can't get along with each other. We just can't figure out a way to coexist. We have to have conflict. And apparently, this is something that our leaders do well. Conflict. Solving problems is not apparently a skill set that is necessary right now to be a leader.
Right. Excellent beginning and introduction to the discussion today from Norman Floyd Barnes. Turning to the studio with Dr. Nasser. There is so much to discuss today, actually, when it comes to entertainment and geopolitics. Some updates. The late slain Supreme Leader is in Iraq, in the city of Najaf, and the funeral continues. On the other side, French President Emmanuel Macron was in Syria to meet his counterpart Ahmed al-Shara in Damascus after blasts has rocked the capital Syria. So there is a security concern in immediate neighborhood in Syria. It is also a part of the Middle Eastern architecture. On the other side, the NATO summit had kicked off when Donald Trump had greeted the Turkish soldiers in their native language by stating marhaba, and that had made the social media say that Donald Trump is also picking up languages from other parts of the world, and having a sore eyes for Giorgia Meloni, who he had met across this NATO summit. Of course, Donald Trump has said she is a nice person, but criticized her for failing to help in the Iran war. And as Norman was stating, there was parts of Iran and the US taking off as last night. I want to get a remark from you. Do you think that there is opportunity for dialogues to persist, if not coming back to confrontation? And we know for a fact that when a worldwide event takes place, wars are no longer given the importance until when the event has finished to a certain degree. How are you seeing these updates that I have provided?
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me, and warm greetings to my co-panelists and dear viewers. We are talking at a time when the NATO summit is just taking place and also in the peak of its discussion. And it was aimed with, there had been 5 major agendas. They termed it 5 fingers of the discussion module, starting with the higher defense spending, then support for Ukraine war, and relation with Russia, Middle East tension, and defense industry and weapon production throughout the NATO countries and the Atlantic region. So the third point was support for the Ukraine and its military functioning, and the fourth point was relation with Russia, and Middle East came to the fifth point. So Middle East was one of the discussion points for the NATO leaders, especially once Donald Trump himself was attending the meeting, and remarkably the president of the Turkey and of course Zelensky was invited, Ukrainian that leader. though he is not a member of
NATO.
the NATO, not from the NATO countries, but he was invited, and of course the Secretary General of the NATO was there. Within that, the discussion regarding the Middle East was highlighted, and there had been a lot of discussion regarding this. And right at this moment, we have seen 80 sites of the of Iran has been bombed by the US forces. It is especially the two cities you have already mentioned, and there was another port city which came under the bombing of the USA. And
Right.
to reply that, first of all, the Republican guards, they clearly said that the severe reply will be given, and they warned the that there should be 85 military targets in the Middle East region where the US military bases are located. And right after that announcement, there was siren sound around Bahrain and Kuwait, and it has been reported already few of the military bases, though many of these are empty now, because they have shifted from the military bases to different hotels and residential areas. So, but Iran has already given the reply by hitting those targets, not the civil areas. So far, there is no report that none of the civil areas has been hit. So it implies that once the Irani people had been mentally upset because of the sad death of their supreme leader and his family member,
entire
of course.
family, yes.
And it was unkind in the history of the world and also in the military history. You can shoot at your enemy if he is trying to kill you. If he is in uniform, there is no harm in killing the enemy. But once a religious leader is at his residence and there is no allegation against him, you have not asked him to surrender, you have not given him warning, suddenly you strike and kill him with his family members. That is not the order of the world. That cannot go on. The way they have captured the Venezuela president, the same way they wanted to change the regime in Iran. But this funeral, the assembly of few lakhs of people there, and the concentration of almost all famous leaders of the world under same umbrella in Iran, the condolence given by the world community, it speaks people are feeling for Iran. But showing total disrespect to such feelings, they have started bombing when the NATO summit is going on, and another drive by Qatar and Pakistan is going on to execute the initial understanding of bringing permanent peace in Middle East within 60 days. They have a 60 days timeline.
Right.
But where is the ceasefire then? What is the implication of the 60 days time frame? So it totally disrespect to the world feelings, disrespect to the ceasefire instrument, disrespect to the humanity they have struck, and as a reply, we have seen already tension develop both in Beirut and Syria. So this is another concerning point. The war, if it ends well, what we can expect and we wish, that is the best way. But if it doesn't, the world will accelerate in a huge volume that may go beyond imagination and beyond control. Syria, Lebanon, Iran, and definitely Iraq, and Iran's capacity to influence the other Middle East countries and Hormuz Strait definitely will pay heavily for the world economy and the human life also. Excellent
remarks from Dr. Nasser. As I add on to his statements, I want to also state that Donald Trump is saying that US-Iran ceasefire is over after both countries have exchanged strikes. On the other side, NATO chief Mark Rutte is saying that the US strikes were absolutely necessary, accusing Iran of basically violating the ceasefire. Iran's parliamentary speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says that it's US who breached the truce. So there is once again a repetition of not seeing eye to eye. Meanwhile, the NATO summit is still ongoing. At the summit, Donald Trump has called Iran's leaders a cancer and are evil. So these are the words that Donald Trump has uttered in this very summit. I want to have a question towards Norman Floyd Barnes. I know for a fact that we have been doing journalistic work regarding the Middle East for many shows. I want to ask you, has there been a security posture change or a regional change in the posture of exponential power and how they're projecting it over the region. We also see delegates from Saudi Arabia attending the Ayatollah, the late Ayatollah's funeral. Much of the commentary that is now coming out, the NATO summit is going to be the one to decide what will be the fate of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, commercial tankers that come under attack, and then the U.S. stepping in with CENTCOM, all of this is leading towards much of a conflict than resolution. Would you agree, Norman?
Yes, I do agree. I concur completely with what you just alluded to. The world has changed. It has evolved. The NATO summit is going to be utilized to basically to serve as a I guess a entry point for the European countries, NATO, to basically come into resolving this issue with the Strait. The Strait is more than just the Middle East, it's involved the rest of the world. NATO understands this. They understand that basically Ukraine, which wants to be a part of NATO, is has to be addressed how that's going to work. Russia is pushing and pressuring NATO to show its hands to see exactly what they want to do. The Strait has to be addressed on a global point, and Iran right now appears to be controlling that narrative. How it's going to how the world is going to deal with that, and so the European countries are now looking at this. This is not just a regional thing; it affects our livelihood and the future of how things going to go. The prices of everything is going to go right back up again. And the point now is that can we trust that Iran is going to basically stabilize the circumstances, or they're going to use this as a similar to our government tariffs instrument to utilize to control the outcome, economic control. So right now, this is a very serious issue because we don't see any type of concessions and improvement. We just see now a new weapon, a new instrument be used to control and manipulate how the world economy. And that's the issue right now. The world economy is being manipulated by these actions.
Absolutely.
And we do not understand exactly what is going to be the outcome. Firing back missiles, attacks, whatever, that is a symbolic, that's a saying we're doing something. We were responding back to your attacks on the ships. But the real issue is that now the insurance companies, the people who underwrite these things, are now stepping back and say, hey, they don't have an answer to this situation. And at any time, our investment can come under attack. So now we have this whole quagmire again that is it safe? Is it stable? And if it's not safe and unstable, we're not going to ensure that these ships that carry this precious energy cargo is going to be we can basically give the sanctions for them to move. So now we're in a situation where no one trusts anyone. People are not trustworthy in terms of what they say, what they do, and Iran has this understanding that they can control the outcome of the globe by turning off and on what's going on, and we will dictate the terms. And the United States and the rest of the world now realizing that this is a real problem because what we say today doesn't mean what we're going to do tomorrow. And we have to come to understand how we're going to resolve this issue. And right now, there's no answers. There's no answers because we're back in the same problem we months ago. We're doing the same situation, and it's going to get worse. And Iran has the keys. They still have the keys. They have the switch. They have the keys to the faucet, and we have not understand that we have to deal with them in a different manner. Fighting, bombing, and as Vice President Vance said, we can't kill our way into it. We can't bomb, we can't kill. That is not going to work on this big issue. We're dealing with the funeral of the their religious leader. That during this time is a very sensitive time for the people. There's going to be a response to that. But having these attacks, military response during a sensitive time when the people are trying to honor their fallen leader is not a good time to do this. It's not a good time because now, before people was thinking, okay, we're going to understand we have concession, but now the whole mindset is you have a new enemy now. And the enemy, we got 10 million people showed up for the funeral. We got 10 more million people who are now, in addition to the rest of the world, is now going to pressure our leaders to understand that, hey, you're not doing this right. This is messing up. This is affecting our livelihood, and you're affecting our religion, and you don't respect our culture. And if you don't respect people now don't like you. I mean, they don't like you. They don't do things with you. They don't relate. They don't have concessions. So basically, you created a new monster, and basically, the people are not happy how this thing is heading up because they are being affected. Even though we're talking about the military and the Iranian guards, and we're talking about our government, but the end result is the people are not happy how this thing is being managed. It's not being managed well, and that is not good for all governments. It's not being good because the people are now seeing that our elected leaders can't manage the situation. So the question is, what purpose do you serve us?
Right. Excellent. Once again, statements coming from Norman Floyd Barnes. There is an old saying, what begins well ends well. But in this case, the Iran war started with the assassination of the late supreme leader. And hence, Donald Trump cannot find the ending he's looking for, the off-ramp he's expecting. Today, the NATO summit was to talk about Ukraine, arms exposure, the defense industry of Turkey, and how to bring Russia and Ukraine back to the table. But it has taken a dramatic dramatic shift away from that. And it once again focuses on Iran, focuses on what is happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Let me also state that Donald Trump has put back a spotlight on the Greenland after he's still saying that US is interested in taking control of this very territory. It has been reported by CNN. With that being said, it's time to take a very, very short commercial break. Do stay tuned as we analyze these upcoming stories. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen,
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same
Welcoming our viewers back on International Affairs. In the studio, I have Dr. Nasiruddin Ahmed as well as Norman Floyd Barnes from Washington. As we were discussing the NATO summit and much of how it was ongoing, several rivals as well as of recent times, Italian PM as well as the US President. And I want to also ask Dr. Nasir regarding how close the Kremlin shall be observing the outcomes of this meeting? Because to one aspect, Russia and Iran and China, they are of one bloc that is, of course, supporting this issue with Iran, supporting Iran in its time of need, as NATO leaders plan to unveil arms worth tens of billions of dollars in Ankara, as the US is to spend more to defend Europe. So I want to get a remark from you. How do you think Russia is observing these developments?
Yeah, internationally, it has already come under media focus that Russia clearly said they will keep close eyes onto the discussion and progress of the NATO summit. And under this, there had been two aspects. One is Zelensky requested the the NATO countries to help Ukraine for their air defense. That means he requested for more of drones, more of anti-aircraft missiles, and to safeguard his air defense, air territory. Reason being, right before this NATO summit, Russia had a very massive attack on different targets of Ukraine. And on contrary, Ukraine also retaliated, and it also launched few of the drones towards Russian side, for which again different part of Russia supply chain has been disrupted. That also came in the discussion. And on this background, the US president had been hammering on more of defense budget for NATO. His claim earlier, he did not leave NATO, but many a times he said that we should leave NATO or we should curtail the budget for against the NATO, because it is not the sole responsibility of the USA to protect the entire NATO region. And for that, his target was to 5% of the GDP of NATO members countries must be given for the defense purchase, defense development by 2035. By the year 2035, 5% of the GDP of each nation should be contributed towards the defense budget, which is a huge amount, and through that the USA could save some of its budgets, which is now being expended for NATO. And there has been huge repercussion also. You know, number of universities and Pew Research Center has carried out a survey which clearly shows that more than 60% of the US citizens, the taxpayers, they think the present government or the America is doing more for Israel and NATO than what they are expecting. Only 33% said that yes, it is doing justice to Israel and also the NATO budget, and others are quite neutral, or they said they should do more. It is 8% probably the people of the USA said there should be more allotment for Israel and NATO countries. But
Right.
Donald Trump was against the expenditure only from USA. He rather requested the other NATO member countries to increase it. And two development has been marked, that from Airbus company, they have already declared that there should be 10 more air refueling aircraft, which is very costly
Right.
and also very sensitive. That should be included in the fleet of the NATO countries and supported with more transport ships in the NATO water region. And side by side, they have requested for two major surveillance devices, one for the air defense and one for the maritime defense, which is also very costly. So it seems that defense budget of the NATO member countries, and particularly USA, will go high in the days to come. But what is the result? If the result is, if NATO cannot protect a country like Ukraine or the Greenland, which was part of Holland, and if it comes under the attack, what should be the use of giving such budget? So these are the sore points which will make the NATO controversial.
Right. Excellent remarks once again from Dr. Nasser as I want to turn the table of discussion from geopolitics to another kind of war field. It is on the pitch, as we've seen yesterday, between Egypt and Argentina. Some background story: Egypt scores the first 2 goals and 1 goal was disqualified by a VAR, and of course the referee Francois Lexeter, hailing from France. I want to ask Norman, you used to be a basketball player in your prime. I want to ask you some of the ethical concerns that come to fair reporting, because we know Diego Maradona, someone who is known as an Argentine legend, and there has been a scandal regarding him back in history. The hand of God is given the name to the illegal opening goal awarded to Argentine footballer Diego Maradona during Argentina's victory over England in the quarterfinal match in 1986. Given to that comparison today, we see that Mohamed Salah was fouled inside the penalty box. It remains the question whether or not this will go down in history as one of the most scandalous games we have seen. Not only so, the European Parliament members, European government wants to investigate FIFA President Gianni Infantino on various accords as well. We've seen the Balogun red card issue as of the coming days before in the round of 16. What are some of the feelings you get? We know for a fact that racism has become an issue in the FIFA World Cup. Not only in the Egypt match, we've seen popular YouTuber IShowSpeed getting racial rants from Argentine supporters, as well as a Paraguayan politician makes remarks towards Kylian Mbappe leading from France. Emmanuel Macron had mentioned that we shall not give heed to any kind of racist comments. I want to get your remarks, Norman.
Yes, as a former athlete, actually a former FIFA athlete in South America, this is a very amazing thing. I was just talking with my daughter yesterday, and she had the conversation brought up about this game, this fantastic.
Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken
Some of the ethical concerns of this very World Cup. Let me also give another
to address the problem of fossil fuels.
what their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with 2 types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International affairs. Watch every Sunday.
This time we have seen it started with the Iranian team, whether they will be allowed to join even the world this football competition or not. After that, whether they will be allowed to get inside USA, how many of them will be allowed, should the officials will be allowed, coach will be allowed or not, only the players. So this is how the politicization started, starting from the beginning, which made this controversial. And this controversy multiplied last night. Last night with the result of the game Argentina versus the Egypt, because the previous game Argentina was almost losing the game, and with the very newcomer in the football arena. So for that time there was and Brazil has.
Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean.
Still could survive. But after that we have seen back-to-back goal by the Argentina side, and also there had been a huge controversy about the goal, one particular goal, where the way the foul was done was taken to be done
Right.
by the referee.
Right.
The same thing happened with Argentina also, but unfortunately nobody has given any importance to that claim, and you have rightly said that the coach of the
And the referee came out to present yellow cards to the technical staff of
yes,
Egypt.
technical commercial, and he clearly said that this FIFA or the international this organization is under custody now. It cannot take independent decision or the right decision.
Even
It is
if you
taking a dictated
disregard the
decision.
game, we look at USA and the Balogun red card
Yes,
overturned.
yes.
So that is an initial signal as well, as I believe. Would you agree as well?
Of course, because the game should end right onto the field. Why after the game some dictation should come and whether it will be valid, remain valid or not. And if that is to be done, there has to be some procedure, that is the going for the appeal committee should take a decision and everything. And you know, there is called something public perception. We do not play, but we can understand how the game is going on.
Of course.
This is the charm of the greatest show of the art. We get involved so closely, and probably FIFA did not do justice to our emotion. And the way they have conducted this particular last game, it really frustrated the true soccer lovers.
Of course, excellent remarks coming from Dr. Nasir in the studio. I want to thank you for your contributions, your time and patience on this very program, looking at international and national issues. Thanking you once again. Thanking Norman Floyd Barnes for joining us here in the studio through Zoom from Washington, District of Columbia. I want to end by stating what we have in the quarterfinals of the FIFA World Cup. France and Morocco are scheduled to go head-to-head this Friday, July 10th. Spain and Belgium are set to go this Saturday, July 11th. Norway will be facing England on July 12th. And of course, Argentina and Switzerland shall be meeting on Sunday on July 12th as well, as we look towards the final happening July 20th here in Bangladesh. With that being stated, I am Shamsul Panto signing off on International Affairs. I shall catch you all with the latest updates in tomorrow's episode.